Hello everyone, this is Matthew John. Welcome to my video. If you haven't seen me before, I'm a spiritual teacher and an intuitive healer. Thank you for joining me. So the topic of this video is 3 soul lessons that all of us must answer. So let me first talk about what is a soul lesson. So a soul lesson is something that your soul is learning through you. So, if we go from the top, there's source, right? All that is. And then there's what's called a monad, which is a higher aspect of you that is connected to source. And then that would be like the high self, the higher self would be the monad. And then the monad branches off into 12 soul groups, right? And then those soul groups branch off into 12 souls. So there's a hierarchy, and it's all different aspects of you. There's different higher aspects of you. So your soul is also on a spiritual journey. And this is something that I don't think a lot of people realize, is not only are you on a spiritual journey, but your soul is on a spiritual journey. So your spiritual journey is also your soul's spiritual journey. Your soul uses its time as incarnates in physical realities. And it's kind of a weird thing to think about, but it is quite possible that your soul has aspects that are incarnated in other realms at the same time as you are here. Or it is even possible to have your soul being incarnated into you and another being on this planet at the same time. It's also possible that you have 2 souls that are working through you. There's a lot of different possibilities, and it's just like everything in spirituality. If you haven't noticed by now, the more you dig in, the more complicated it gets. It's far more complicated than it appears on the surface. But on the other end, of course, there are very simple, things that everyone goes through. And there are simple tools that everyone can use to help them navigate through the journey. So your soul lessons are lessons that your soul is learning through you. And your soul being on a spiritual journey as well, your soul incarnates many times, and you are one of those incarnations. And congratulations, you're here. Congratulations, we're all here. We're in the physical bodies. It's not easy. It's not easy just being in a physical body. That's a journey in itself. It's very unnatural. I have a theory why babies cry right when they're born, and I believe it's because they're coming from the spirit realm where they feel very comfortable, and they kind of know what that's about, being born into a whole new physical reality, and it's just very foreign. It's very foreign, so the baby feels grief about leaving the spirit realm. That's just a theory. But so let's talk about what are the 3 soul lessons that everyone must learn. And everyone has their own specific soul lessons. And if you've ever had a soul plan reading from me, you'll know that I'll give you what lessons you're really working through right now. And if you haven't had a reading from me, it's great. It's really helpful. Go to my website, youaredivinehuman.org, or my Facebook page, and you can book through there. So everyone has their own specific soul lessons that they're working through at different points in their life. And in each incarnation, the soul lessons are generally a little bit different. But there are 3 that I've noticed, and there's more than 3, but I'm going to give you guys 3. There are 3 that everyone works through. And the first one is learning to love oneself unconditionally. So the soul has many different experiences as an incarnate in different realities, and even if we just take on this planet, in a lot of different bodies in a lot of different situations, and a lot of the themes of past lives have to do with lack of love, you know, abuse, neglect, abandonment, right? Imprisonment, persecution. Very dualistic, very separated from love. A lot of experience separated from love. And there's a lot of beings on this planet who are still going through that, aren't they? If we really look at the planet from a bird's eye view, the people like us who are on a conscious spiritual journey is still in the minority. It's still in the minority, and there are still a lot of people that are really experiencing a lot of violence and a lot of abuse and a lot of really difficult situations. And there's also a lot of people who, and this includes us on the spiritual journey, and includes me, who are learning to love oneself more completely. And so we have these experiences in all our past lives of lack of love, to really, because we need that pain. The way that we learn on a soul level is through opposites. So we have the opposite experience of what we want to learn, and eventually having that experience enough and feeling that pain or that emotion enough draws us back to where we want to go. We end up seeking out methods and ways to heal ourselves, right? I'm sure a lot of you can think about that in this lifetime. So often the reason that someone begins a spiritual journey is not just because they think, oh, this is fun, right? No, it's usually to get out of pain, isn't it? It's to heal yourself from abuse, from trauma, from neglect, abandonment, from not knowing how to love yourself, self-hate, from physical diseases, right? Physical disease, from feeling heartbroken. These are the things that propel us into a spiritual journey. And it might be for a lot of people that you've had a lot of different past lives where there's been a lot of pain and a lot of trauma, and then so you kind of re-experience that all over again early in this lifetime, in childhood, maybe in adolescence, maybe even in adulthood, until there's that one thing, the kind of straw that breaks the camel's back, that propels you to go on a spiritual journey and to seek to heal yourself. It's kind of how it works. The universe works through incentive almost, because the way that we're programmed, when we're completely lost in ego, which almost all of us, I don't know if there's any kids out there who are not born in ego, because it's a necessary learning tool. It really is. And again, I'm not totally out of ego, and I'll be the first to admit that, okay? But there is no incentive to become something more deeply than ego, if not usually for some sort of pain, to heal some sort of pain, to heal some sort of separation. That's the incentive. Because we're wired, just like animals are, to seek pleasure and to avoid pain. This is how the brain works. And it makes sense, doesn't it? Who wants to seek pain? Right? And even people, let's use a pretty dark example, right? People who are cutters, people who are very depressed and actually harm themselves physically. Well, they're not seeking pain. They're seeking relief. They're seeking to be relieved from it. They're seeking the feeling of relief. At least that's my theory. But no one actually consciously goes for pain. We just don't. That's why, you don't consciously reach into a hot stove. You pull away to avoid the pain. So whatever we do in life, it's because there's the belief that it will give us a better chance of pleasure and a lesser chance of pain. So when there's enough pain and we finally start to discover spirituality, it's because we want to heal ourselves, isn't it? It's because we want to heal ourselves, right? So, learning to love oneself unconditionally, and that's the soul lesson, is, we eventually will find something on the spiritual journey that has to do with love. It's one of the biggest themes. And really, it is maybe the ultimate theme, because this is a universe that is love. Everything is actually created from love. It really is. And if you can actually just look at any object and just think to yourself or say to yourself, this object was created from love, right? It's a powerful thing. It kind of changes your relationship with the object. So how do we, use that concept to heal ourselves and to learn to love ourselves more unconditionally than before? We all have parts of ourselves that we don't like. We all have parts of ourselves that we wish were different. And anything about you right now that you wish was different, this is a part of you that's seeking your love. It's seeking your love, and it's feeling separate because you're not embracing it fully. And because it's feeling separate, it's likely to act out in any number of ways in order to get your attention, in order for that rebound effect to occur, that incentive to finally get you to try something different and love it. And again, I'm still working on this. This is not something that is usually mastered quickly. This is something that takes a while. It takes a lifetime. It really does. For most people. So, what are the parts of you that you don't like? What are the parts of you that you wish were different? If you're really honest with yourself, and not the spiritual thing that you might post on Facebook of like, no, everything's great, I'm so happy with everything now, and then inside you're like, I hate this. That's what I'm talking about. And there's nothing wrong with hating it. There's nothing wrong with hating it, really. And you can't go from 0 to 60. You can't go from hating your life to just totally loving every part of you that you hated before. If you're really honest and you hate it first, that's better, because then you're actually at least coming into alignment with what is. You're no longer denying. You're saying, I don't like this situation. I don't like my living situation. I don't like where I'm at, as an example. I hate this. That's better than denying, oh, it's okay, yeah. No, hate it. But then, what about you? Then what themes about you come up? Oh, I'm not able to support myself. I'm not able to make enough money. I'm not able to live by myself. I'm not able to take care of myself. And then those are the parts. Those are the parts that tell you what's calling out for your love and acceptance. What's asking you to embrace it rather than push it away. And this is not easy. But when you do, try something different and try to embrace those parts, something radical shifts. Something really radical shifts. And then you're going to be more likely able to change those things that you don't like. It's not always possible, Sometimes there's things that you can't change, But when you come more into acceptance and embracing those things, they become less painful because you come into alignment with the fact that these things are in your life. Okay? If I can help you with this if you'd like. An intuitive healing coaching session, we would definitely, we work on this in a whole number of ways. We really do, but it's kind of the same theme of healing the parts of oneself that feel separate from source, really, from love. Number 2, soul lesson that everyone must master: learning to let go of judgments. Learning to let go of judgments. And this actually is also has a lot to do with number 1. Number 1 is learning to love oneself unconditionally. And whatever judgments you hold against self, we have judgments against, take stock right now as an exercise. Where are you holding any sort of judgment against self, against the world? It's easy to look outside. It's easy to look at the news and say, this president is an asshole, he's out of his mind, and he's ruining the country. For example, right? If you live here in the US, that's a judgment. And the fear is, if I don't judge that, if I don't judge what is going wrong, then I'm somehow supporting it. But it's not true at all. It's not true. What is actually happening is anything you judge holds you energetically bound to a frequency of victimization. It's a frequency of feeling victimized by it. When you're holding a judgment against what's going on, what governments are doing, because these are things you can't directly control. There's a difference between, let's say you're in a position of political power and you're able to challenge, let's say you're a champion for environmentalism and you're in a position to challenge some of this, in the United States, the Republican administration's anti-clean environment actions, then that's very different because that's an empowering stance. You're actually empowered to make a change. But for most people, and for most people who are watching this, there's not a whole lot you can do, is there? And you can do it if you really want to do something, then do it. Start a petition, sign a petition, spread information on Facebook. But if you can do that without judging what's going on as less than divinity, this is the key, is when we judge anything that's going on inside or outside, it's because we're seeing it as somehow less than divinity. And the implication on a deeper level is that somehow the universe fucked up, that this is not right. And so again, just like anything in your life situation that you don't like right now, there's an inner judgment that this is not right. Something is wrong here. The universe screwed up. And I gotta somehow either get mad at the universe until the universe changes, or I gotta find a way to fix it. Right? And they're both illusions. Both viewpoints are illusions because nothing is ever a mistake. And I know you've heard this before, but we need to be reminded of this every freaking day, really. Nothing is a mistake. There are no mistakes. You are exactly where you need to be in this moment. It is in your highest good to be right where you need to be watching this video right now. Because if there was in your higher good to be somewhere else, you would be. But we want things, a lot of times we want things, but the universe knows better. The universe knows that if we had everything that we wanted right now, that we wouldn't learn what we're meant to learn as well as if we didn't have what we wanted. And again, it's that incentive, that rebound effect, right? Because someone who has a lot of, there's a very common illusion out there is, if I had more blank, I would be blank, blank, blank. Fill in the blanks. If I had more money, if I had a better relationship, if I had more land, if I had a better job, if my health was better, I would be happier, more content, more satisfied, more peaceful, etc. And it's all illusion. And the universe is doing what it can to break you out of that illusion. And it doesn't mean that you can't have those things. It just means that the universe is trying to teach you to not believe that those things will bring that greater happiness, that greater peace, that greater etc. Because those things are what you're meant to bring now. Just right now. Not later, literally right now. Right now. And that's alignment. That's alignment when you consciously bring those things that you thought you needed, other things you needed to get this and this and this and this and this in order to be happier, more peaceful, more relaxed, etc. When you just bring that now, you bring that into your experience now, and you just be happier, you be more peaceful, and you be more relaxed now, then you're mastering a lesson. That's another lesson that I didn't even plan on presenting, but yeah, is the illusion that that we need more blank to be happier, to be more content, etc. But how this has to do with learning to let go of judgments is, again, any judgment against your current situation, your health, your finances, your relationships, your living situation, and any judgments against self, against the inner parts of self. I'm not good enough. I'm not good at things. I can't support myself. I can't be alone. I'm afraid of the world. I'm afraid to fail. I'm afraid to succeed. Whatever in a way, these are all judgments. They are beliefs, but they're also judgments. They're also judgments against self. So, and then judgments against the world. What is going on in the world is a travesty. It's wrong. It's not right. And that doesn't mean we don't affect change in the world. We do affect change, but when you withdraw your judgment that what is going on in the world is anything less than exactly how it's meant to be in this moment, that's when you're coming into alignment. You're coming into alignment with what is. And when you're coming into alignment with what is, those judgments are gone, and you're no longer victimized. You're no longer feeling like a victim. You can't feel like a victim if it's all perfect, can you? It just doesn't work. Try believing that everything, just for a moment, as a fun exercise, just pretend that everything right now, including all of the crap that's going on out in the world, and I say crap not as a judgment, I just say as all the stuff that is just nasty. It just doesn't sit well with us, right? But just pretend for a moment that it's all perfect as it is, and it's all meant to be right now as it is, and that everything in your life is meant to be right now as it is. And then try feeling like a victim anymore. You can't. You can't feel like a victim. And this is what the universe is really trying to teach us with this soul lesson, is to let go of feeling like a victim. And that was another way I could have presented this lesson, is to let go of feeling like a victim. Because it works both ways. When we let go of judgments against self, world, God, we can't feel like a victim anymore. And when we don't feel like a victim, we have more energy to actually affect change. Isn't that a funny thing? Isn't that a funny thing? And you wonder, maybe that's why, the powers that be, they kind of like people feeling like victims, don't they? Like they can affect change. But when we let go of that, when we let go of those judgments, and in another video I talk about relinquishing your grievances. This is the exact same thing. Relinquishing your grievances against the world, those shackles come off and you're no longer a victim. Now you can you're much more able to affect change vibrationally and also practically in little ways. We do this in little ways. We spread love, just spreading more love, being nicer to other people, being nicer to yourself, being the opposite of what it seems like is going on in the parts of the world where there's a lot of separation from love. Just embodying more love than ever before. Choosing to be nicer to yourself than ever before. Or even just going out and, helping to clean up the streets if you want to. Volunteering if you want to. Whatever makes you feel like you're affecting a change is fantastic. Because when you're actually working to affect a change, you're not feeling like a victim, are you? Because you're doing something. You're doing something. Soul lesson number 3 is learning to let go of the past fully. And this ties into number 2 as well, because it's easy when you don't like your circumstances right now to feel victimized by the past, isn't it? Right? Something happened in the past that affected what I am going through right now, and so I'm judging the past. I'm judging that what happened in my past is less than divinity, is less than what was meant to happen. And it's not possible. It is not possible. Nothing can happen without God's permission. Nothing can happen without the universe's permission. Nothing can happen without the Creator's permission. And thus, all that happens is meant to happen. It's all meant to be. There are no deviations. It's all meant to be. And when you align with that, then how can you judge your past as being a mistake? You can't. You can't. If just try it. Try to believe that everything is perfect and everything is meant to be exactly as it is right now. Right now. Doesn't mean it's not going to be different later, but as it is right now. You can't judge your past as being a mistake. You can't. It's not possible. It's not possible. So learning to let go of the past fully, again, when we let go of judgments, that's another judgment. Against the past can be a judgment. So, when we are able to do that, again, we are no longer feeling victimized now by the past. Because if you believe that there's something that happened in your past that is preventing you from being and doing what you want to do now, then you're being a victim of your own past. It's like, and if you if you think about it, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? It feels a little nuts, but this is so common, and I'm working on this too. I'll be the first to admit I'm working on this too. But it's not really much different than, pretending and saying that there's this voice in my head that is keeping me down and is preventing me from doing forward. Then you're feeling victimized by a voice in your head. Anything that makes you feel like a victim, this is something that you are judging. And when we let go of judgments, we let go of that. When we let go of judgments, we also let go of being a victim. We really do. We really do. So what if your past actually had no effect on you right now? Had no negative effect on you right now? Because the truth about reality is that positive, anything above, if you remember like the David Hawkins kind of 0 to 1,000, right? Courage was 200. That was kind of the start of positive emotions, right? Positive actions. Anything above that, when the ticker goes above that, it's so much more powerful. It's exponentially more powerful than the negative. The positive, one positive statement, one positive affirmation. This is why affirmations are so effective. It's because one positive affirmation is more powerful than 1,000 maybe negative thoughts or negative statements. It really is. It's just how the universe works. It's a It's a positive, loving universe. So when we use the positive and when we go into the positive, it's infinitely more powerful than the negative. Exponentially would be the correct word. Exponentially more powerful. So when we do an affirmation like, my past has no negative effect on me now, and just pretend right now that your past actually in reality has no negative effect on you right now. What if? Then what? Don't you feel more free? Don't you feel more able to affect change, right? What if you didn't have to carry the same negative mindsets, the same negative self-beliefs, the same judgments that you had 20 minutes ago before you started watching this video? What if you didn't have to carry those forward starting now? What if you're reborn right now? And I'm going to tell you the reality of it is you really are being reborn right now. And not because of me, because you're being reborn in every moment. But as we're in linear time, we carry the versions of our past with us, right? And this is why you can go to a healing session. You can have a healing session with me or someone else that you trust, and you can feel so different right after. Because it is possible to just shift things like that. Because it's all quantum. It's all quantum. And you don't have to be the same person that you came into the healing with. And you don't have to be the same person that you came into this video with. So can you be nicer to yourself? Be more loving to yourself? Can you be more forgiving with yourself? Can you be more patient with yourself? Okay? Those will help you to master the soul lesson of learning to love yourself unconditionally. And it takes a lifetime. It takes a lifetime, but we work, we do the best we can. We do the best we can. Because when we're not doing the best we can, that can be another judgment. Oh, I'm not working hard enough at this spiritual thing, and we don't want that. We don't want any of those judgments against us. We don't want to add any judgments on the spiritual journey. We don't want to add any. We just want to be as compassionate and as patient with ourselves as possible. Okay? Learning to let go of judgment. So just a practical exercise would be to see something in the world and say, well, somehow God must want this exactly as it is, or the Creator Source must want this exactly as it is. And just pretend. Just pretend. And see how that shifts your vibration. Because it really does. And then, usually what happens is when you start to judge what's going on in the world less, you actually start to pay attention to it a little less, because you're not feeling... There's a tendency for people, when they're feeling victimized by something, they keep consuming that type of information that keeps them feeling victimized. And again, it's the incentive, rebound effect, wake-up call, because eventually there will become a point, whether in this lifetime or next lifetime, that they say, let me try something different. Let me try something different other than feeling victimized by what's going on out there. Okay? And then number 3, to let go of the past fully. So to pretend that there is no negative repercussions for my past right now. That whatever happened in the past, I'm free from it. I'm free. I'm free, and I'm creating anew. I'm creating anew. And even if there is something, a bill comes, right? A bill comes from something that you purchased, yesterday. I know, I understand there is a repercussion that you have to pay that. But here's what can shift. Here's what can shift is maybe before this video, you might have had the thought that money is an issue. I always got to worry about money, and I don't even know how I'm going to pay this bill. To maybe I can pay this bill, right? Maybe I can find new ways to draw in abundance, to draw in earnings. Maybe I can increase my earnings. Why do I have to have less earnings than before, right? Something like that. So your perspectives can change. Your perspectives can change. But you don't have to carry any of those negative self-beliefs or judgments against self or the world with you after this. You can let them all go right now. Just leave them behind. Leave them behind. All right, everyone. Thank you. Please check out my website, youaredivinehuman.org. Check out my Facebook page. I have a whole library of videos. If this is the first time you've watched me, or even if you've watched me before, I have a whole library of videos and articles on my Facebook page, and the articles are on my website. And here's how I can help you if you would like to work with me one-on-one. If you like my vibe and how I teach, and you're kind of curious, then yeah, let's do it. Let's do a private session. I offer intuitive healing and coaching sessions, which is really tailored to heal kind of energetically what's inside you that is looking to be healed. And childhood trauma, past life trauma is really key. We work on that a lot. And also, it can be to just help you move forward and create what you're looking to create. Okay, it's intuitive healing and coaching. Okay, the soul plan readings, where I will read your life plan and everything you've gone through and what it means for you, what you're meant to learn, what your specific soul lessons are. You know, on top of these three kind of all-encompassing soul lessons that everyone goes through, I'll read what your specific lessons are right now, what you're really meant to learn from things. And we'll also take a look at probable futures, you know, where you seem to be headed on your journey. And I also offer starseed coaching sessions if you think you're a starseed. And my dogs. All right, I guess it's a sign to end this video. Starseed coaching, intuitive nutrition healing sessions for physical health, and spiritual mentoring if you're looking to, you know, become a healer, develop your healing gifts, or just really accelerate your healing journey. So, well, my dog stopped, but I think it's a good cue to end the video. So until next time, namaste. Thank you for watching. This has been Matthew John.